Hello, and welcome to another Amamelia session breakdown for this track B3, or I guess 7, from from my album Bananamelia. Lemon Magnolia. This track was called Ocean View Ave for a while. And then I thought, I don't like that. Even though it's a very nice street, if you're ever in Birkenhead. And Lemon Magnolia was just kind of like a pleasing set of words. And basically, I mean, we're all in lockdown. God. It's so... it's sorry, extremely... I had a very kind of like I exist in time moment there for a second. We were all in lockdown, and at the time I was working right by Albert Park, which is full of magnolia trees, and I was kind of thinking about like, well, if I wasn't stuck in my house right now, I would probably be like sitting under a big beautiful magnolia tree, and that's kind of slightly a vibe for this track. Mostly the vibe for this track is that I wanted to have a track on the album that was like, I guess like having a go at doing some like Yellow Magic Orchestra stuff. Although I don't think it has ended up hugely YMO like. A little bit. I think the rhythm is very Yellow Magic Orchestra, and but the melody is ultimately, I think, a little bit too stupid and noodly to be truly YMO. So let's it's good. So let's break down what's happening at the start. So basically, it cuts in from the previous track, which got very serious about the transitions at this part of the album. This is like the best track transitions, because I was really like, I can't really you can't fudge it for every track. So you can see where the field recording that I took at night in my garden kicks in. That's where the tracks have to meet. And we've got this tom fill. I can't remember what kind of toms they are. They might be like, they might be Lynn toms, but I don't remember. I wish I did, because it's like the best tom drum sound ever. I should just use these same samples. I'm a fool sometimes. And they've got reverse reverb on them. So basically you just like, first you reverse this recording, then you put reverb on it, and then you reverse the recording of your reverb on the reversed drums, and then you get this effect. It's pretty cool, I think. And it is it's the tom drums on this track are very heavily inspired by a song called River in the Ocean by the Beatniks, which is at least one YMO member. I can't remember off the top of my head which one it is. I think it might be Takahashi. Anyway, love that track River in the Ocean by the Beatniks, and I really wanted to have that kind of, those big toms with big reverse reverb. And so, yeah, we're basically almost an outro for the previous track. We've got the same kind of little chord vamp happening on the piano. And this ARP is the exact same one that's used in the opening track of the record, except now it's in a different key, because the whole of the B side is, I think, in B flat. That's it. Yeah, pretty much. And it's just like a square wave in the PG8X. But I'm very picky about square waves, and a lot of square waves on synthesizers sound too fizzy and thin to me. So I really like the one on this freeware VST. Um, and we get into this little vamp. And basically I wrote the vamp before anything else. Let's mute the stuff that wouldn't have been in there. Oh, it's not too bad. It's pretty good. So the bass is there's just one bass sound through the whole track, and it's a synth sound on the Korg mini log. A lot of this track is mini log because it was stuff that I wanted to have the like precision of MIDI, but the main synth that I used on this record, the Gen SX1000, is like it's pre MIDI. So there's no MIDI. You can get a MIDI mod kit for it or something, I think, but I don't have that. So I'm tempted to say that the bass sounds on the mini log aren't that good, but it could be that I just did not know how to program one right. But I think it sounds alright in context. Even if it sounds a little bit woolly by itself. Basically, all of the drum groove is done with Oberheim DMX samples. So we've got little kind of basic hat rhythm offset by this little cabasa, and then a very it's simple, but it's driving, and especially with the I think it works. And then you've also got this, which is kind of the heart of the it's like the heart of the track to me. BG donk. I think that means background donk, and basically they're like weird loops, also done on the mini log, using like ring modulation and stuff to try and make it like sound as atonal as possible without being like a noise. And it's run through the chorus on the Roland RS09 like Stream Machine to have this nice stereo effect. So just one doesn't sound that nice. This one is slightly more tonal. I think it's just playing B flats forever. Together, it's a little kind of like choo-choo train rhythm type thing. And that just repeats through the whole thing. But because they're like, it's an analog synth running through an analog chorus, you can see it's a little bit all over the place, which is good. It adds vibiness. Yeah, I guess the only thing now to talk about, I'm going to turn all of this stuff back on, is the actual like melody of the song, which is like the main thing. So it's pretty good. So this is also, I didn't play this is done through MIDI. So I wrote these parts in MIDI and then got them to be played on the mini log. And you can see that A is running through the chorus, so it's wider. So this is like a layered sound. Because originally for this part, I wanted it to be like a fatter, like a kind of like a big Moog sound. I was like, it's going to be retro. It's going to be like 1978. But the mini log just does not sound like that. Like Korg synths have a very different. They've got a kind of like they sit in the mix nice, but by themselves they can sound a little bit weedy. At least the kind of the more modern ones. relative to a Moog anyway. And I probably could have got that on the Gen, but then I would have had to have played this, which I was not really up to at that particular time in my life. I think I could maybe play it now. But yeah, anyway, so it's this. Let's listen to them separated. Here's the main sound. Yeah, a little kind of like pluck with some vibrato. You can tell I'm pushing it too hard into that chorus because it is overdriving. Yeah, a little bit rough around the edges. You can see from the waveform there's a lot of like harmonic stuff happening. And then the B, I don't even remember what the B is. What are you? Oh, it's a little fade in. To kind of like sing out on those long notes. So together, it becomes. Yeah, so I mean, you'd barely hear synth B until those like long held notes, but I feel like it adds a lot of energy there. Originally, it was just the one level, and I was like, no, this is not working. I need more. I need more action. And then so here's the secondary lead line. So basically, it's like this whole call and response thing the whole time. They trade off the melody and they play little counter melodies and stuff. It's like my kind of curse is to make basically everything probably more complicated than it should be, or that you can like reasonably be expected to listen to. But I think in this case it kind of strikes mostly a balance. Yeah, a little slightly softer than the other lead sound, a little bit accordion-y almost. I think this one's at like a pulse. And the secondary layer for the second synth is like totally different. It's like doing the opposite thing than the second layer for the first synth. So what that is that's being like the breath attack of like a wind instrument, theoretically, like that's the idea. So you just hear, so when you're first like blowing on your flute or whatever, you get the big, I think I just made a pop on the mic, sorry. Very odd by itself. Can you hear it when they're together? That one I could probably have cut, but I like the symmetry of them both having two layers. So, I mean, so much of this track is just a vamp with the melody kind of like going back and forth between its like kind of A and B sections and kind of one-upping itself. But over here, we've added a little synth clap with a reverse. It's not as good as the reverse on the toms, but it's like... it's adding a little tiny bit of anticipation, which if you can't hear, don't worry. Oh, and we're about to come out of the vamp. Okay, this bit is very YMO. So that turnaround basically just takes us right back into the vamp. Let's hear it with just the. There's not so much production stuff on this, but I think it would be nice to listen because there's a few different kind of basically unique turnarounds that kind of happen maybe once or twice. So let's have a listen. I think it's quite revealing, of how I write these little chord progressions. It's a lot of like bits where there'll be one or two held notes between the chords, and the bass moves to give some tension, and then there'll be I think there's. I'd be shocked if there wasn't an yes, and then it ends on like an augmented chord to really like push you to want to resolve back at the end. And the bass kind of like doing boom ba when it doesn't know what else to do. That's I think I might have to retire that trick on my album that is after this one, which hasn't come out yet at time of recording. I think I do that one too many times. That might be the last time we hear it. All right, where are we going? We're going to the actual B section, not just the kind of like B of the A melody. Yes, this is the same chord vamp as before, but we've got this new melody over the top, which is played using a very similar sound to what I called like the flute sound on Colorbox, and this is on the Gen with pulse width and pitch modulation, kind of working it with the same LFO, and so these are played in, and they're doing a harmony that's like, I can't remember off the top of my head, in fifths or something. Is that out of tune? A little bit. Cheeky little thing where it looks like we're going back into the main melody, but then I re-harmonize it and we go nowhere. We go back, and then let's listen to that little turnaround by itself. The piano parts sound quite odd by themselves, but I was basically writing them in. You can tell the parts where the piano is written first because the piano has much more voice leading, like it's outlining a melody, which is really not there. I was writing these turnarounds in conjunction with writing the MIDI for the lead lines, so it was just like you were never going to hear it by itself, which I would if I had written it first, and then I would be particular about it. But you're always hearing it under this. Back to the B section. This track has so much, so many like, what feel like basically fake outs to me, where it feels like it's going to go back into a section. It's like, no, we're vamping more. So what's coming down here is, what I've called, Synth 4. And this was a nightmare for me. This is like the thing that I re-recorded the most times for the record because I knew what the part would be. This. Dun, 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 dun. Well, I sang the wrong melody there, but you get the idea. The rhythm was correct. Yeah, it's this funny little kind of like steel drum sound that's played across these two kind of like slightly detuned voices on the gin, and I ended up doubling it with this music box sample that is from somewhere. The Fairlight? I think it's a music box sample that was originally on the Fairlight. It's very background, but it took, like, you can see my dedication to using very specific and selected sounds that reappear across the record. I was like, nah, I'm using a Chamberlain music box sample that you barely can hear and won't be on anything else, because I was having so much trouble getting this to sound right and then two sit in the mix, which sounds like they should be the same thing, but sometimes you find a sound that is the sound that you want to go there, but you can't have it be the right volume. If that makes sense. People who mix music are sitting there being like, yeah, yes. But for other people, yeah, it's like individual sounds are one thing, but like sounds' relationship with each other are a whole other thing. And sometimes what you like imagine as being the sound just can't live in an environment with all the other sounds. And so, I don't know. This bit feels deeply compromised to me, but I will live with it. I think it only happens... Does it happen one more time? No, it only happens there. This is just the same turnaround as before, but I think I've more or less reversed what the things are playing. Maybe I haven't even done that. And this is the breakdown. If I was less of a coward, I would have made these disco toms twice as loud. I know I think on one track I was like, this is my only regret on the record. I have two. The other one is making the disco toms so quiet. So basically, my friend Michael Grelge, who's actually recorded a really beautiful version of this song on the piano, which you can probably find somewhere. I think it's on YouTube. It's very beautiful. But he basically like introduced me to a lot of the music that this track in particular is referencing, and I was like talking to him about the track, and he was like, needs more disco tom, and I was like, oh yeah, it doesn't have any disco tom. A disco tom is this like laser sound. Yeah. And I think I made this one myself. I made it on the Yeah, you can see I recorded it, and there's three. I recorded them all, and I think I made them on the mini log, and then they play. But they're too. I should have. Look, when Grouch said more Disco Tom, I should have I just put some Disco Tom, and what I really should have put in was more Disco Tom. Like, it's tasteful, but it shouldn't be tasteful. There should be like lots of it. I guess that, look, to be fair to myself in the past, the other Tom fill is not tasteful. It's a lot, so I'm doing something right. So much vamping. Partly I think the vamping is because I knew how much time I had to fill on the record. And because I had 4 tracks on the first side, I wanted to have 4 tracks on the second side. So I was like, well, this track needs to be quite long. Oh, I'm pulling out every compositional trick I remember from 5th form music. All right. Here's something fun. It's a think break fill, which you can. I had forgotten was in there, even though I have listened to the record since. Not all the time, but a couple of times, and I totally forgot this was here. It's like the subtle hint that we're moving back into breakbeat territory, and you can see that I originally had a whole like loop here. But you can't even really hear it. It's just making it a bit busy. But we are coming up to this exciting turnaround. Okay, so what's happening here is that I knew the next track would be a breakbeat track. So as everything slows down, we're starting to get break cut fills. Yeah, and that's not done with like delay at all. That's done with volume envelopes. It just sounds like delay because it's repeating the same cut of music. How good is breakbeat music? But what's also happening, if you look up here, the tempo is changing. Because we need to get from 135 back to 160. So, yeah, from, where is it? It's from here? Yeah, so basically I have the synths set to repitch warp. So basically as the tempo gets faster, the pitch goes up. And I could have not done that, but I like how it, like, as the break is starting to ramp up, the pitch keeps going up. Like, it becomes like a kind of a shit dub siren for a second. So we have some stuff from the next track here starting. So we've got the choir pad that's from the very first track on the album. That kind of opens the album. That's nice. And then we have this like little kind of janky slide guitar with some other stuff happening that was basically like recorded from some fucking around in like 2014. This was basically from my first ever Ableton session, was like a breakbeat track. The break cuts were so crazy, and there was an 808 under every single time the kick landed, which with crazy breakbeat cuts sounded bananas. But it had this kind of like, yeah, like COD slide guitar tropical thing happening over the top. Someone like almost playing Sleepwalking and then kind of giving up. And because part of this album is about, like looking back at that specific time of my life, and is kind of in tribute to my friend Ruben Winter, who had, when I was making this album, had recently passed away. And he was the person who showed me how to use Ableton. And so, like, had kind of like walked me through making that first track. And so I was like, I wonder if there's anything in there that I can take out from that very first file that I have that I could use in this. And that seemed kind of appropriate for the sound of Bananamelia. Yeah, it's like this. Yeah. Anyway, it's so the kind of like the proper origins are like are slightly lost in time, because it's like obviously it's recorded from something, and then there's layers of other, like a couple of guitar parts, and then that have bounced down and then recut. This is basically how it was cut in the original thing as well. So it's it's kind of interesting to just be able to pull it out wholesale. But yeah, so for that reason, this bit is always a real kind of like heartstring tugger for me, specifically. And it was nice to be able to use it kind of on that last track on the record. Sitting there alongside the dual think breaks and the choir pad, so kind of bringing us, as we go into the final track, bringing us full circle back into the first track. And that is Lemon Magnolia.